I'm Jeff Kitzmiller here at the National Weather Service. Dave Noble is going to help me out. This is a really good moisture tap that we'll have for the next 36 hours. Most of the moisture is coming pretty much directly from Hawaii. And as it works its way into Idaho and western Montana, it's also going to meet up with some cold air. And that's going to move around. Dave will talk a little bit more about that. But I wanted to switch over to this slide here. Excuse me. This here is showing one model's depiction of the precipitation at each 6 hours. So I'll move forward in time, and the reason why I want to show this is it'll show some of the main focuses of precipitation through time. So this is the 6-hour precipitation ending at 5 p.m. today, and you'll see that the Clearwater Mountains and along the Idaho and Montana border up to Lookout Pass are some of the places getting the most precipitation up through this afternoon and evening. Kalispell is still going to hang around in the light snow, but this doesn't show a lot of precipitation. You know, it'll be consistent, but the accumulations won't be anything impressive until we get later in time. Now, as we get to 11 p.m., the moisture starts to increase. The same places that we're getting precipitation are actually going to get heavier precipitation. Same as 5 a.m., but at 5 a.m., you're starting to see a little bit more focus through the middle of the forecast area. So either side of Missoula, maybe just up to Kalispell, but then it really focuses tomorrow morning, and this is where Missoula should really be getting some heavy snow. Most of Idaho is either getting moderate or heavy rain, or above 4,000 or 5,000 feet they're getting moderate to heavy snow. Over in Cedar Lake it'll be going pretty impressive. And then by the afternoon, this is where we're really watching. The moisture and the cold air join together really well during this time. You can really see this brighter green showing up for precipitation. And this is still focused kind of in west central Montana. Idaho's in the mix the whole time. And then as we get later in time, in the evening and later, the main precipitation starts to work its way north, and this is where Kalispell probably will see its highest snow rates. So here's 5 a.m. Saturday. It's still, there's still a lot of precipitation happening. And then 11 a.m., that is where we start to see a big drop off. The big moisture push starts to move out, and so at this point, snow rates should really start to decrease. Temperatures will be pretty cold at this point. And then we'll keep moving into Saturday, and the snow really starts to decrease. There's just some lingering snow as we get into late Saturday. Now we've talked about how the snow levels are going to rise just a little bit, but places like Grangeville have already mixed out. They're in the 30s. They had a south wind and they were seeing temperatures in like 37. Same with Hamilton. And there's kind of a line between the two where north of that line, most people are still in cold air. South of that line, people are in warm air. And this makes it a big challenge as we're looking at precipitation type. So with warmer air coming in and some places still having a lot of cold air in the valleys, we are worried about freezing rain. So this graphic here, this is the 24-hour forecast for freezing rain. It ends on Saturday at 5 p.m. So it's including tomorrow morning and again on Saturday morning. And you'll see some of these places that are showing up in the greens over the lower elevations outside of Lookout Pass, you know, Noxon up to or down to St. Regis, so along I-90 and Highway 200 and even maybe the Bull Lake area. Those guys seem to have the highest chance of seeing freezing rain. Now we can't, excuse me, we can't rule it out for Missoula. It looks like there would probably be 2 brief periods where we could get freezing rain, and that would be tomorrow morning and again on Saturday morning. We still probably have a better chance of staying snow the whole time, but there could be just brief periods where we switch. And then south of Missoula, even though it's not showing up on this graphic, I don't think that the way that this is being created is picking up on the cold air that could be still trapped near like Stevensville. So we're worried about freezing rain both mornings there as well. Here are the two different snow totals. I wanted to break these up a little bit to try to focus in on when the most snow and the higher intensities will fall. So Friday morning, I just wanted to break that one out by itself so you could see how much snow will fall Friday morning. But you'll see as we go to this right part of the screen that Friday afternoon through Saturday morning is definitely have the highest snow rates, the biggest focus for snow. And this might actually be slightly delayed from what we were thinking before. We did think that some places might have their higher snow rates Friday morning. Now it does look like most of them will be Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. And there'll still be some pieces that will go over here about the wind and the cold so that you can see how they all join together.
So this is Dave Noble. We're going to look at temperatures now. On the left side, you'll see today's high temperature forecast. And I've already looked at, it looks like Deer Lodge has already warmed up into the mid to upper 30s. There are some south winds have developed in the southern Bitterroot Valley, also Anaconda areas. So that it's kind of a tricky forecast with regards to temperatures, especially in those areas. Also, the Camas Prairie temperatures have gotten in the 30s. They're getting southerly winds, and those south winds are expected to increase in strength into tonight, with possibly some gusts close to 50 miles an hour. But temperatures are going to be above freezing, so we're not anticipating any issues. I guess there could be a little bit of blowing or drifting snow, but with above freezing temperatures, it should be less of an issue. And so the yellow line is basically we're trying to show where kind of like where the frontal boundary is and where it's going to be headed. So if you look on the right side, the image here, this yellow line, by tomorrow morning, east and northeast of this line is where you're going to have the winds are actually increasing. So like Kalispell, those areas, Columbia Falls, they're going to be seeing northeast winds, gusting close to 30 miles an hour, or maybe even greater in some of the canyons. And also at the same time, the temperatures are going to start to fall as well. I mean, you have all this Arctic air that's banked up against the Continental Divide, and you have a 1050 millibar high that's coming down out of Canada. So it's that pressure of that cold air being pushed against the mountains, being pushed through all the canyons, causing those winds to increase, causing those temperatures to increase or decrease. And then if we go forward, you can see tomorrow high temperature, that frontal zone is basically going to be kind of stalled where we have the yellow line. So basically near the Idaho-Montana border, down towards Missoula, and then eastward. And it's that zone that's going to be tricky to forecast precip type, which is always the case. But our highest confidence right now is that temperatures in Bitterroot Valley will rise above freezing, especially towards Stevensville. The precip type may change over to rain. And even though the temperatures are above freezing, the ground temperatures are still cold, so there still could be a threat of some freezing rain in those areas. And you can see in the lower elevations in Idaho, temperatures should be moderating well above freezing for any of the, chance for any sort of snow or mix. We do still have freezing rain in the forecast for like some of the eastern valleys of Idaho County and Clearwater County in Idaho. So we still have that threat in there because there could be some cold air still sticking around. So by Saturday morning, also if you want to look up towards West Glacier, Marias Pass, that air is really cold. So temperatures are going to be in the single digits to below zero tomorrow morning. And then you combine that with some gusty winds and be pretty cold wind chills. But we'll talk about that here in a few slides. So by Saturday morning, the frontal boundary really hasn't changed much. And actually, it's starting to shift northward or eastward near Drummond to Butte. And so that means that, that's going to be kind of a tricky area. Some places could see snow changing to rain. There is a system coming in that's going to actually create westerly winds and help to try to push that that boundary or that cold air eastward. And then go forward. Here's Saturday, the high temperatures on Saturday. The boundary kind of retreated northward from Libby to like, south of Polson. So huge temperature difference. But by then, we're expecting, precip rates to be kind of diminishing throughout the day. So here's wind chill temperatures. So this is kind of like the coldest wind chill temperatures that we've seen in the forecast. This is happening Friday evening and Friday night. With those northeasterly winds and the colder temperatures, it's going to drive the wind chill temperatures into the -20 to -30s up by Polbridge, West Glacier, Marias Pass, Helmville, MacDonald Pass, and then other areas like the Flathead Valley could be in the negative single digits wind chill, so it's going to be pretty chilly, pretty nippy. Towards like the Mission Valley and the Missoula valleys, the winds aren't going to be as strong, but you are going to start seeing the temperatures cooling with time as that Arctic air tries to make it in to like the the Missoula area, the Mission Valley. So, I mean, it's still going to be cold, but still single-digit wind chill temperatures. So it's still going to be pretty chilly. And we just wanted to include a slide about snow levels. It's a dramatic difference. To the south, snow levels are getting close to 5,000 feet. And then there's going to be this zone between like Missoula and like Hamilton, where it's going to be a very extreme difference. And it's this whole zone right here that's going to be really tricky to try to nail down the precipitation type, and also temperatures too.